life is always throwing things at us.
Yeah, there's a saying that goes, the only thing that doesn't change is change.
Right. If that's the case, how can we handle it?
And are there any good tools?
Let's talk about that.
It's the good kind of.
The good kind of.
Good kind of.
The good kind of.
The good kind of.
It's the Good Kind of Lost podcast. Hi, I'm Menin.
And I'm Nikki, and today we are talking about change and how we handle it. And what we have found like personally as good tools for handling change.
Let's jump right in with the first question. Do you like change, and how do you like to handle it?
Do I like change? So I always hesitate to answer this question like directly yes, because
Same.
there are just some things that are like crazy, and I don't know if I want to say yeah, I'm all about that. But like for the most part, like everyday things that happen to people, I don't like struggle with change most of the time. I tend to be a person who goes with the flow and very flexible, very adaptable. And I kind of get excited by change even when it's scary. So when I was very young, we had like major life changes that would happen, and I would always be like, oh, this is scary, but I'm so excited to try it. Yeah. Even with school, like it's like a brand new way of doing this class, and it was scary, but part of me was like, I'm kind of excited to see what's gonna happen, and sometimes if I speak for myself, I tend to lean too much into the fear and anxiety because I know that's what is normal. But I wish and I hope that I can lean more into what I think is maybe my instinctual response of being excited. But yeah.
I think it depends on like if it's a major change or just small changes.
Yeah.
Like you said, like for example for school, so you stay at the same house with your like environment. It's just a thing that you change like one thing. In the end, I think this kind of change is more like is easy to handle as opposed to big changes.
True.
Like moving or something like that. But to answer the question, I wanted to be really straightforward. To be honest, I hate that. I hate change. I force myself to like it because this is the life I want. I want to be able to evolve and to do great things. But in general, I hate it.
Oh no.
I hate it. It's just like the human brain that is like that, to stay in the comfort zone
For sure.
all the time.
Yeah, and routines. Like you get into a routine, especially like let's say you move to a new house and you have to find a new route to go to the supermarket. You have to find a new way of like going through your own house. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this first, then make breakfast, then
That is exciting.
yeah, like changing your routine. But like when it's all of that plus like big things, it might be overwhelming.
Like that.
It gets overwhelming. Yeah, I see
People
that.
don't like that.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't like change, but I don't like a flat life either, when you have nothing that's changing. And I feel like I prefer like the moment just after making the decision to make a change, because you're already like all set to just jump into your next chapter.
Isn't that interesting? So yeah, that actually sounds like, I feel like science probably has something to say about that, but it's like the anxiety of the in-between of like about to do it.
You know that
strong.
you're gonna do it, but
Yeah.
you don't know if it's gonna be scary or not. But once you've done it, just at the beginning of the new life, I feel like it's the most exciting part.
That's true. And actually, I think also what might help too, or that I've heard, and maybe I've experienced too, but I can't think of a specific example, is like when you make the decision. Like if you just say, I want to do this thing versus I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah.
Like once you make a decision, oftentimes like anxiety kind of lessens.
Yeah.
It feels less because you've already like made up your mind, like no matter what, this is the direction I'm going.
Yeah.
And I will say like one of the things which does set me apart when it comes to change, that many of us can handle like a lot of smaller, even medium-sized change, but long-term change is scary. Actually, long-term change is what excites me.
Really?
Yeah, if there's like a big change that's gonna be long term, if I can make that decision and just like do it, it's really exciting. But yeah,
like moving or having a new job, something like that, you love it.
Yeah, like it's exciting to me, even if it's scary. Like I still feel like a little anxious, but it's more exciting than scary. But
Interesting. I'm the opposite.
no, I know we're so opposite on that one. All right, but that leads us to the next question, which is, sometimes we crave change even when we claim not to like it. Do you ever crave it, and are you aware of why?
Yeah, I think I crave it all the time. And that's why it's so funny, because I don't like change, but I need it. I know that I need it. And I hate that when it's just stagnant, always the same things. You start your day, like just routines in general. I hate that. I feel like if you're always the same, like you're less stimulated and you lose like your ability to enjoy your life, your everyday life.
That sounds like it's tied to maybe control. Like that when you feel like you can have control of your life when things are changing, it's okay. But then if the control seems out of reach, then maybe that's when it's scary.
You're right.
Maybe.
You're right. What about you?
For me, I tend to crave change when I'm uncomfortable. So if I go back to the school example, just because it was just so recent, the last semester of school, it was crazy hectic, and I just felt like I had no control again. I felt like I had no control. I felt helpless. I just had to go with the flow, and I felt like, oh, I don't like this. I want this to change. So like I was craving a difference in there instead of that just boom, 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 constant going. And also if I'm like in a job, like I can remember I was in a job that I didn't quite enjoy, even though it's pressure, it was difficult, but I could handle it, but I didn't like it. I was uncomfortable. So that tends to be the time when I'm like, okay, I want a big change. Sometimes I make some drastic decisions, which I shouldn't. And sometimes I do like take a moment and breathe and like, okay, let me think about this. What do I want to do? What's the result? What's the consequence? But yeah, when I crave it is often because of my comfort, like if I'm not comfortable. And then that also makes me pay attention, like if I'm too comfortable, maybe I need to like, do I need to do something different?
So don't you feel those moments when you're just like okay with everything in your life?
Oh yeah.
But you still need more, or not more, but something different?
I don't know. I feel like I tend to be the person who will just chill in one spot as long as necessary, as long as everything's okay. Like I still have like things I want to do and things I like doing, or I have little goals, but like I don't, if I'm comfortable, I'm not gonna like, crave for like greater and I don't know.
Something else.
I think maybe sometimes I do, but I always kind of try to remind myself to be grateful for where I am, especially if I'm comfortable. Because I always feel like, imagine if it was in a terrible situation, and I always want to be grateful for where I am. So I try not to like become too discontented and just wanting more when I already have comfort and happiness.
That leads us to contentment. This is something we always talk about.
Yeah.
Always being content of the things you have. When you want a different thing, sometimes just to come back to just contentment.
Yeah. That's true. It's so important. You're right. And it has to be a practice, because it's so easy not to be content. It's easy to just keep wanting more, especially when you come right off like a big project. You get off the high of like, wow, I did it, I accomplished, and then you feel it's like a low, it's like a valley, and you feel like, oh no, I need something more, instead of like taking a moment. Like, did you just see what just happened?
Adrenaline, maybe.
It's like an addiction. Like dopamine addiction or something.
The next question: when do you least like to experience change?
When do I least like to experience change? This actually reminds me of like a specific situation. Like one of my past jobs comes back to what we were just talking about, where I was saying like if I'm comfortable, like I can just stay there. I was in a job that I was like, it's not the best. I don't hate it. I can make enough money for what I need right now, but I could feel like I needed to leave. I didn't want to, and I just like got pushed out of it, and I was like, ugh. So like this is a point, like I didn't want to move because it was going to be so much trouble to like figure out the next plan, and I had to move. It was switching platforms. I was with this company teaching, and I had to switch because this company was going down and they were closing out and they weren't sending students anymore, and I was like, oh, fine, I have to do something. And I had to change. I had to like move out of the I guess maybe I was stagnant, I don't know, but I was very comfortable. It was just there, and I feel like God was like, nope, get moving,
It's your time.
let's go,
Yeah.
let's go. Yeah, so I remember that was one situation where I was like, I didn't want to change, and I had to.
I feel like it's even worse when it's tied to financials.
Yes.
When you have to think about the money, I think it's where the changes are the most difficult.
Yes.
Because in the end, you don't know if you're
Yes.
gonna have enough after that.
That's true.
I get that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And to me, I feel like I hate change, like if it's imposed by life, for example, a death or somebody, or a disease or something bad that's happening, because life is always like moving all the time, and we always think like when we think about changes, we always think about job, moving, maybe getting like married or something like that, but we don't think about like more negative things. And yeah, I feel like this is the time, like this kind of events, this is where I struggle.
That's a good one. Yeah, when it's imposed on you, I think that's
Yeah.
probably like. I feel like probably across the board for people is probably like when it just comes at you,
Yeah.
smacks you in the face. It's
Yeah.
like now you got to do something about this.
Yeah.
Do something about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you go through dark times sometimes, depending on the thing. Grieving,
Yeah.
not comfortable.
No, discomfort again.
Yeah.
That's true. And it definitely, because it's like not something you asked for or even like expected, it's like it's the shock of it makes you resist.
Yeah,
You know.
totally. But even we could think about like you're in a couple and your husband or a spouse has to move like somewhere else for work, for example. It's not your choice.
Yeah.
You're gonna follow them because you love them. This kind of change, I think, it's the worst.
And then our next question is, when do you think change is most necessary in our lives?
I think it's necessary all the time throughout our life, because you know how the human brain is. We always need to evolve and to go forward.
That's a good point. I had a specific answer, but I
Oh.
think you're right. I
It's
think you're
over.
right. Yeah. I was going to say in situations that are against who we are. So I think that could be all the time too, because I think we're never fully, expressing our true selves.
Fulfilled, or, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's always growth to be had. So we're always against who we are. We're always like lacking something.
Right.
So I would say like sometimes we can tell when it's really obvious, and sometimes we can't. And I think that's why I think for myself personally, I can get really comfortable and I forget that I need to keep growing. I'm just happy, just like every day doing the same thing.
A lot of people are not able to do that. People
Yeah.
to enjoy every day.
Yeah, that's true. And there are some people who like, and even if they don't enjoy it, they're just living day to day, and they're not trying to grow. But I think it's important for me, even if I'm comfortable, to continue to try to grow. I do grow like in some ways, on purpose, like mentally, because I like to learn. So I'm always learning something. But I think it's important to like think holistically too about yourself, like spiritually, mentally, physically, taking care of yourself and things like that. Because there's always a better version of yourself, and it's not to be, I guess, discontent. Like we don't want to like bring ourselves into pain and suffering of thinking, oh, I need this and I need that. But at the same time, we need to have some level of desire to be
Goals.
better versions of
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Goals. Always having some goal, even if
the
it's
base,
Yeah.
touches of
for everything.
evolution.
Always have something. And I've always struggled with this, like to like have goals without being discontent, because the type of person I am, I'm very like I when I go for something, I go wholeheartedly.
Perfectionist.
Yeah, so I can be a little over the top. And I can sometimes get a little bit too like wrapped up in a thing, and then I think, oh, I need to do it, and I had to like fight against that to make sure that I would be happy still
with what you have,
with where I am,
Yeah.
what I have. I think you're definitely right on your first answer though, that it's a all the time thing to not be stagnant. I like somebody, I forget who it was, I heard this from, but I love this saying, that's like one of my favorites. There's no such thing as standing still in life, because life is a current and it's always moving you. So if you are not going in a direction, it's pushing you in a direction. So, and the way I see it is life, it's kind of the current is pushing backward because of entropy, you know, entropy. Things are going towards disorder. So the current is pushing you backward. If you're not swimming forward, you're going backwards. So I always think of it that way. Like if I'm not trying to improve myself, I'm breaking down, I'm just becoming worse. I am becoming like dust.
I was like that for a long time. Like I didn't want to choose something because I didn't want to change, I think, and I was just like staying still like that, and no, just go against the current, like you said, and it didn't work. Like you said, just in the end you finished somewhere, and
it takes you somewhere.
You didn't choose it, so it's even worse.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Like if you don't choose, life will choose for you. You know what? That was one of the things my parents used to tell me growing up. If you don't know where to go, any road will take you there.
That's another good one.
Yeah, and I remember when I heard that, it's like, well, I want to go the road I want to go. I don't want to just go anywhere. So I think that is a good, like, maybe something to remind yourself of when you are like having a hard time making a decision.
You're scared.
Yeah.
Don't want to change.
You just make a decision.
Yeah.
And just say, at least you decided.
Yeah, at least you decided, and you can be against yourself if it's not the right choice, but yeah, it's still better than if it was life.
Yes, exactly. You can't blame anybody except yourself.
No. And if it wasn't a good thing, then you still grow from that.
Exactly. The funny thing is, I think people also can take this as an excuse. If they don't make a decision, like in order to not make a decision. I've heard this, that people don't make the decision on purpose so that they can't blame themselves. So that they can't say, oh, well, I didn't decide.
It's not me,
It's not me. They don't want to take ownership.
Yeah, this is what I tried to do. I don't want to be a part of that, the part of that.
Yeah.
My own failure.
Yes.
Instead of just thinking of your greatness and the things you could do, like just, no, I don't want to.
Yeah. Then you get responsible for your own failure.
Yeah, because of fears.
That's so true. Yeah. And you know what? It's sometimes it's hard for, like, you're in this place where you are now, where you've changed. You don't want to be like that anymore. But there are people who they can't understand ever wanting to go in that direction. Like, why would you want to be responsible for your own failure?
You know, always the same. And just, it doesn't make sense for them.
True.
Yeah. But there is a saying, I don't remember exactly what it was, but you never lose. Like it's either you win or you learn from something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. That's true.
So even if you have like a big change, a big decision to make, just think about that.
Yeah. There's always a positive you can get out of it. And that goes back to our previous episodes, which we'll link to at the end, where we talked about like perspective. It's all in your perspective of everything. Like if you win or you learn, you look at that learning opportunity as either a loss or a positive. I gained information.
Yeah, that you can use to continue your way.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when a routine is unexpectedly disrupted?
So this is the paradox of the human being. I like change, but I hate when my routine is disrupted unexpectedly. Unexpectedly is the key word. If I see it coming, like I need like a good couple weeks to know like I'm gonna do something that's gonna break my schedule.
Like right now.
Right.
As you can see.
Right. We didn't talk about it. We're twinsies right now. We're in person. Once in a while,
it's
like
a special edition
moon. Yeah. Once in a blue moon.
Because as a reminder, I live in France. She lives in the US, so we're nice apart.
Yeah. So just this is a great example. So this is an example where I saw it coming, we planned it, and I knew, oh, I'm just gonna rearrange my schedule, and so I had a lot of time to deal with it. I hate it when like I have some friends who are like super spontaneous, and I'm not spontaneous, and they've learned now. Like, don't ask me the day
Did we
before.
hang out today?
Yeah, don't ask me the day before. Not even like the day before too. I'm like, no, I need time. Like, I'm an introvert, and like I like my routines and like unexpected.
Organized. You have like all your things
Very
planned.
organized. Yeah, so like I know tomorrow morning I'm getting up at 6, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna teach at 7, you know.
You
So
know
I
what you're
know
gonna do.
I know what I'm doing through the day. So if someone is like last minute, hey, you wanna do this thing, I'm like, no, I don't. But like I also understand my friends. So if I do have time, even if it feels uncomfortable, I'll do it. You know, because I want to spend time with them. And oftentimes it's like the only time to spend time with them is when they're like spontaneously like, let's just do this thing. So, but yeah, long answer short. I don't enjoy like having disruptions to my routine.
I get that. It's me. It's the opposite. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
I knew
totally
it would
opposite.
be.
Yeah, because I used to travel a lot, and so I had to face different types of situations where I had to be flexible. So I really like that, and I don't care if something happens in my week. I like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that so funny? So I love the long-term change, hate the short-term change. You love the short-term change, hate the long-term change. That's hilarious.
But again, it depends. If it's just like your car breaking down, for example, no, don't like change like that.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I did have a comment on this because I know there are people who like do worse than me under like routine disruptions. Like they kind of crumble and like can't function properly. I can't think of a specific example now, but I remember like some people who like it's just like impossible for them to
like everything is set up.
very
organized.
very inflexible. And they just can't budge from
all
their
the
schedule
time because they have like family or things to do. Or
yeah, and and to them it makes sense. Like they can't do this thing. But for me, it's really just like selfishness. Like I just want to be comfortable, and you're disrupting my comfort. You know, and it's like also the discomfort of being an introvert. Where like, am I gonna have to be social?
Yeah, I'm the same. Really? I think it's a question of priority first. Like what you want to do. Like if you prioritize your family or you know your personal well-being, you won't let other things coming into your week and schedule.
That's true. Yeah. And then if you really prioritize that other person who maybe, if it's a person that's disrupting your schedule, then it's not as difficult. Yeah, that's true. All right, so our next question then is, how do you stay calm when everything around you shifts? What habits help you cope with change?
My answer is actually the thing I'm experiencing right now. Like everything is changing, my job, my relationships, the place I'm gonna leave. Absolutely everything is shifting around and I don't really know what's still grounded. Just me, like my body, I think. But no, it's still changing every day. So it's really hard and it has been like one of my biggest struggle this last month to find something that can keep me grounded, because even though I like this kind of change right now, I feel like I still struggle sometimes to just know who I am, not to lose myself and all that. So I would say I try to see it as a big wave, just trying to take me away, let's say it like that. But I'm still here. I try to stay grounded by just finding small habits in my everyday life. I try to do something like consistently in my routine to be sure I can still find a point, like something that is moving.
Yeah, point of like stability.
Yeah,
that's true. That's
and
a good one.
finding confidence, trust in myself. I try.
Confidence, yes. I think that's a good way to look at looking at like, even if everything around me is changing, I'm still me. Because even like you're saying, like we do change constantly.
And we tend to identify ourselves with like the people you live with, the job you have, things like that.
That's true, especially the society. That's true.
I know that music helps me a lot because sometimes when you can't put words on the things you're feeling, music can still
it can do it for you.
Yeah, and it's still the same song, so it's like something reassuring, I think.
Yeah, it is reassuring.
And how about you?
For me, my answer is very, I guess, predictable. I rely on God.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's because of that very thing you're saying. Like I change, things around me change, my family. Like the only thing I know that doesn't change, and it kind of goes with the quote we had in the intro. The quote says the only thing that doesn't change is change. I like to do an appended version, which is like the only thing that doesn't change is change and God. God never changes. That's what the Bible says.
Right.
Even if we don't understand him and maybe things don't seem clear, I know that he is still him and he's on the throne. He's not moved. He's not scared. He's not like, oh my gosh, what's that? I didn't know that was gonna happen. He's not worried. It's just us that are worried. He's not worried. So knowing God helps me. Knowing and having God Jesus in my heart and knowing that he loves me helps me. When things are shifting and I don't know what to do, like when I was forced out of that job that I was so comfortable in, knowing that I could rely on God and that he would help guide me, gave me a sense of assurance and calmness, and praying, just talking to him and like letting it out of my head instead of just having it in my head, writing, to just get it out of me and express my feelings, express my thoughts. It really is really helpful for me.
I get that. Even if I'm not a Christian, knowing that something maybe around us is protecting and like I can trust helps a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It's reassuring. Like knowing that there's like God who is, it's like the word I think of is steady and still.
Something
when
bigger.
everything is like this.
Yeah.
He's
it's
just
still
like
here.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So you're contained.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think someone said the way that they put our existence is like we're like this little speck on this rock spinning in the universe. You know, we're just on a rock out there spinning around.
Sometimes we forget how
small we are. Yeah.
And something like a change or something that happens
It's
in your
like
life.
nothing.
Like nothing. Yeah. You think it's big and you can't deal with that, but actually it's nothing. It's just air, just in your mind.
Yeah.
I know it's easy to say that
now
because
we're in a good place right now. It's hard to remember when you're in the situation and things are happening.
Yeah.
But I mean that's life. That's what we have to go through. We have to do it.
Yeah.
What else are we gonna do? Life is just gonna push us.
Yeah. And another key word for that, I would say, and it goes with the thing I was saying about the wave, is just resilience. I think just resilience, that everything is not under your control.
Yeah. Yeah.
To let go.
Let go. I love a song by Carrie Underwood. I sang it over and over and over and over and over. But there's a line in it that goes, sometimes that mountain you've been climbing is just a grain of sand. And the answer you've been searching for forever is in your hand. It's just a reminder to me. And I remember, I don't know if I was going through anything. I was a kid. I wasn't going through anything. But I sang that from my heart. And I was like, because it really touched me. It was like these things that I think are big problems are not as big as they are.
Yeah.
Like we're like this big.
Why do some changes feel exciting and others feel terrifying?
Why? I think this is something we touched on earlier. Why I think it has to do with control.
Control, totally.
Yeah, that was your answer.
Yeah.
I think when we think we can control it. We touched on this topic before though. I don't think we can control anything.
So
no,
in the end,
there's nothing we can control,
Yeah.
but we feel like we can.
Yeah.
And that's the
That's
idea.
the difference. Yeah.
That's the difference.
Your point of
Yeah.
view.
Yeah,
I can control it.
I can turn on the car.
Yeah.
And I can steer it.
Yeah.
But can I make sure that engine doesn't go out? Can I make sure the brakes keep working? No. It's not in my control. I don't even know how a car works. I just drive it. You know? So like we don't have as much control as we think we do. And I think the more if we really like think on that and like really like plant it in us, like we don't have the control we think we do.
Yeah.
We'd realize like we'd have to let go, and that go back to that resilience.
Trust.
Yeah. And you know, hopefully trust in God, but like at least trust that like you have to know that like you are not going to be the one. You're not the savior of your life. All you can control is your body.
Your body, and sometimes you don't know.
And sometimes not even that. You're right. Yeah, people with disease.
Yeah.
Accidents, the crazy drivers out there.
Just right now, your mental, I think you can control your mental, like your thoughts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. And so, like, unfortunately, we are, you know, especially in this society, we are like trained to think the more control you get with money, with job,
relationships. Like I have like an example. When you get married, maybe you think it's gonna be like the husband of your life or the wife of your life because you have this ring, but actually it's nothing.
And they're a whole other human who has all their own faculties and all their own ideas.
Yeah. And not us being pessimistic, but you know they can leave. They can. You know?
Yeah, they have all that freedom.
You didn't buy them.
No, you didn't buy them with that ring. That ring is your purchase order.
It's gonna be me all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, but it's scary though. It's scary to think of, and as much as we like talk about the truth and we know the truth, like when you're in the moment of crisis, like no control is scary. Like I think of my grandma who is in the hospital. She's not doing well. And like I can't do anything right now. I don't have money. I don't have any know-how. Like I don't know what could help her that I could say, hey, give her this, it'll make her feel. I don't know. I have
with
no
money you couldn't.
Yeah, even if I had money, there's only so much I could do. I could like bring her over here, pay for the best doctors, but I still gotta trust people.
Her problems.
Yeah, what exactly? It's a health problem. It's like there's the control is so little, but it's scary because you want things to be the way you want, you know, and it's hard. Okay, so we're out of time for questions for the podcast now, but we do have a section called Last Take. If you really wanted to talk about a topic, and Nanan has a topic she wants to say.
So if you could fast forward to see the results of a change you're resisting, would you do it? Why or why not? Do you have something to say about that?
I want to hear your answer.
Okay. My answer, no, never, because I think the process matters. It's not the result all the time, but the journey to get there. Yes. So I don't want to know the end.
I'm totally on the same page. That was my answer. I was like, I would be anxious if I knew, and I would always be like focus on that thing, and I think I would miss all that was happening.
You're gonna learn all along the way.
It would be too much. I'm with you. Good answer.
Okay, I agree on that one.
And our final segment before we close out is called Rec Time, which we might not have every episode, but this episode we have it, and I have a rec for us.
Recommendation. My
rec is this book called The Dip by Seth Godin. He is like a really like brilliant marketer. He's like a business guy. He goes on a lot of podcasts. I'm like into business and all of that stuff. So, but this book is not really about business. It's about your personal growth. And it's about like when you want to become the best or the best at something, like how to know when you should quit and when you should keep going. And even if you don't want to be the best at something, it's good to know when you want to decide for yourself, should I keep pushing for this, or maybe I need to pivot, you know? And if you look at the picture, this is kind of the image he talks about of like, you're going and you're doing something, then you go into a valley where it gets really hard and difficult, and you're like, oh, I don't know. And then you have to decide, are you going to keep going to go up, or are you going to quit? It's a really good book. I think it's like gives some really good ideas about how to know, how to push. It's really short.
And it's a small book,
Yeah.
I read it in an hour.
Yeah, it's like 80 pages, I think. I just checked 80 pages, very, very short book. So you can like, I don't know if I could read it in an hour. I'm not like you, girl.
Some people can.
Yeah, some people can. I took a couple days to get through it because I didn't have a lot of reading time, but I highly recommend it. The Dip by Seth Godin.
First recommendation.
Yes, for respect time. But yes, thanks so much for being here with us.
I hope you like this episode. And you know, there is something that can help with coping with change.
Yes, you are right about that.
It's planning, and we talked about that in the last episode. You can go check it out.
Yes,
Check it out.
and if you want to check it out, you can watch that video right now next by clicking this video on the screen.
But until next time, remember, if you're gonna be lost, let's be
The good kind of lost. Bye.